Tonight I've got a fun head-to-head competition. If you're somebody that thinks that a budget 1000 grit stone is just as good as a premium 1000 grit stone, maybe hold that opinion until this video is over, because I'm gonna prove that theory wrong. What I have is a Sharp Pebble 1000 and 6000 grit soaking stone that I've been soaking per the recommendation 10 to 12 minutes. And I have one of my favorite newer knives. This is from Schwarz Knives. This is a MagnaCut overland knife with a really awesome blade. My MagnaCut steel. And that's where we're going to test out that Sharp Pebble. I bought the sharpening system. I've got the whole sharpening system here. We're going to use just the stone. It comes with an angle guide, and it's currently $36 on Amazon. But what we're going to do here is we are going to sharpen using the 1000 grit, this MagnaCut stone. And what's going to happen is we will produce a burr. I'm going to have microscopic pictures to show you. And we're going to produce, what feels like a burr. Let's get going. So we are going to wet the stone a little more. And we're going to go for approximately even passes. I do want to generate a burr on this, so here we go. All right, that was 20 passes on that side. Let's do 20 on the other. I lost count. But here's a couple interesting things. You can see that there is some dark material here. Let me get my water bottle. There is some dark material suspended in the slurry there. So we are removing material from this knife, which everyone has told you can't be done. There's no way that this aluminum oxide stone should be capable of sharpening a MagnaCut steel knife. Well, let's see what's really going on under the microscope. We definitely have what feels like a burr. Okay, let's take a peek. Here's what's under the microscope. you can see fragments that are just shredded off. That's not a burr. Okay, so you saw those pictures. That was after the Sharp Pebble 1000 grit stone. I'm going to go to the 1000 grit Naniwa Diamond Resin stone now, which is what I was holding up before. At the start of the video, I'm going to sharpen in this condition with all the little metal spikies hanging off here. I'm going to sharpen this knife again on the Naniwa. I'm going to take a picture under the microscope again, strop it, and then cut some paper and recover this knife, because this is not a burr. We're going to discuss what's going on at the end of the video in a recap. But what is on this knife right now that I just showed you images of is not a burr that you're going for. So if I were to take a strop in this condition, I'm going to end up with I'm going to end up pulling all those metal fragments off, and I'm going to end up with a jagged, chipped edge. So we're going to use the Naniwa stone here to fix this blade. It won't take long. But there is something significantly different happening on this stone. Even though it's the same grit, than that Sharp Pebble stone. Dry this off. All right, let's take pictures of this off of the 1000 grit. Yep, I feel a burr. Let's see what it looks like. In this image, you can see the burr is rolled instead of shredded and peeling out. And in this image, this is on the edge, and in the upper right, you can see it's rolled upward. The burr is on the top side of the blade. All right, so that imagery shows what a burr should look like. And to an untrained eye, it's hard to tell the difference. So let's take a look at both of them side by side while I discuss what's going on. In the meantime, I'm going to also strop this after it came off of the Naniwa. We're going to use a 4 micron diamond stropping compound. We'll go to a 1 micron and then a 0.25 micron. And I'll take pictures again. And then we've got some paper to cut. Start at the heel to toe. Okay, so what's going on? Why did I feel what felt like a burr on a $36 stone made of aluminum oxide on a MagnaCut steel knife? So here's what the deal is. Aluminum oxide is capable of breaking down some of the chemical properties, the actual physical makeup that goes into this super steel, this MagnaCut. Where it fails to break down the knife is the carbides. Carbides are harder than aluminum oxide. And so what you have is basically the carbides are evenly dispersed throughout this metal. And so as the aluminum oxide interacts with the non-carbide particles, it removes them. And then as soon as it hits a carbide, the carbide stays. And so you don't end up having even wear of the blade. That's what caused this image here, where you have spikes coming off of the apex. That is where the aluminum oxide failed to remove that portion of metal from the knife. Now, when you go up to a diamond, like in the Naniwa stone, diamonds are very capable of breaking down and removing, I'll say, not breaking down, but removing the carbides from and everything that makes up MagnaCut steel. Diamonds are significantly harder than the aluminum oxide and significantly harder than carbides are. So, while it felt like I had a burr, and I challenge you to do this, it feels just like a normal burr. What you're going to end up with is a jagged, toothy edge, and not in the good way. Not in an aggressive 400, 300 grit style that some people like having a little bit of tooth on their edge. So, where to draw the line? My next video, I am going to investigate high-end ceramic. We'll do a little bonus video on a Sharpening Glass Pro and see if what kind of a burr or lack thereof it creates on this MagnaCut knife. Hold up. You know, one thing that I came across while I was dotting my I's and crossing my T's, because the last thing I want to do or be is incorrect when I am trying to help educate people on YouTube. I came across, because I was saying the word aluminum oxide a lot during this video, and I wanted to double check and make sure that it wasn't something else in the pebble, the Sharp Pebble sharpening stone. So I went down a rabbit hole and discovered that they are marketing this stone as having a CBN super abrasive technology, which is trademarked. However, there's no data, no lab data, no testing info, proof that there's CBN in their stones. This is more of a marketing ploy than it is a reality, and the Microscope proved that to me tonight. So the other thing is that I own CBN wheels for my Tormek. This is a CBN wheel, and these are not cheap. CBN, which is cubic boron nitride, if that was in that stone, it would have a concentration. There would be a lot of info, taunting and promoting that even more. So there weren't any details in the instructions or on their website about what kind of resin or binder is used in their stone. And I don't mean to attack Sharp Pebble, but I also don't feel like that is the most forthcoming way to market something by stating that it's a CBN super abrasive technology, as if that's as if that means something. With the price point too, $36 for a 2 grit stone and angle guide and stone holder doesn't hold up. If you go on any reputable sharpening stone websites, you're gonna find CBN stones ranging from $80 to $180, and there's no way that a $36 2 grit stone is going to have a surmountable amount of CBN in there. I feel like I bought that for this video, pretty much to help educate viewers that there is a significant difference between 1000 grit stones and the other thing then I finally saw as I was taking apart the box and the packaging and reading everything through, what's kind of comical is the product specifications. Okay, so Sharp Pebble sharpening stone, the product specifications on the side, the material says aluminum oxide on it. So I was correct as I was saying that. The microscope didn't lie, and I just needed to get this in this video because I didn't want someone else to come back and say, oh, there's CBN in the stone, you did something wrong. And I wanted to bring this to the attention of the viewers that personally I would steer clear of this brand, but that's just my opinion. There's plenty of other competitors out there with great products, so if you need advice, drop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each of you checking out my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody and everybody. It really goes a long way. Until next time, Damn for All out.